Hey everybody, I'm Tammy Kiefer, a licensed clinical social worker.
And my name is Desiree Grimaldi. Welcome to Unguarded Minds podcast, where we talk about all the drama, trauma, and gritty things that life throws at you. Today we have a special guest, Crissy Conner. She is a certified coach and visibility strategist, empowering women to step into self-leadership as the visible CEO, owning their confidence, creating omnipresence, and monetizing their message. As an author, speaker, podcast host, and content creator, she understands the power of going first in diversified visibility. And she has an amazing bio, but she's just a boss. She gets people out and she doesn't just tell them what to do. She lives exactly what she preaches to you and tells you to do. I have had the pleasure of making her uncomfortable and pushing herself in SEO and vice versa. So welcome, Crissy. We are so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So I had explained to Tammy a little bit before how nobody would ever know, but you are a huge introvert who does unbelievable amounts of lives and videos and challenges yourself month after month and drops new programs and everything for people every single month. So how did you go from being such an introvert to being the visibility CEO?
Well, it wasn't easy because my whole intention was to be the behind the scenes girl. You know, when I first got in this business, I was doing other people's social media. I was doing other people's content. And so I wanted them to look really good. And I wanted to be like back here, right? Like behind the scenes, nobody needs to know that TikTok. No one needs to know. And so that was totally my goal. And I realized going through the process of having so many clients, I could only go so far with the clients or turn into an agency. And so I started with one-to-many offers. And my first one-to-many offer bombed because no one knew who I was. I mean, a couple people bought, but they knew me, right? They knew me, and I had built my whole social media business on referrals. So I never really marketed it, I guess you could say. And so I realized the power of visibility back in 2018, because that was when the offer I put out for $10 whopping a month. This is hilarious. $10 a month, and I couldn't sell it. It was like I couldn't give it away because nobody knew who I was. And so it was this, it was this decision that I knew I really wanted to help people. And I was afraid of video and I said no to video. Matter of fact, my first business back in 2012, my friend used to try, we made skincare in our basement and all natural. And so she would try to get me to do these like news things. And she applied for Shark Tank. And I remember praying to God every single night, please do not select us. I would rather just be broke than go embarrass myself. Like this is exactly what I did. And so this stemmed from a really far back. And, when I realized that I wanted to change directions in my business, when I realized that what I was doing wasn't working, it was one of those moments where it was like, okay, you can keep going the path that you're going, or you can shift. And I cheated on a bunch of Facebook Lives at first. So you can go live, only me. So that was me cheating. And then I just got over myself. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to teach my audience how to make Jello shots. No one can make fun of me for doing that. Everybody wants to know how to make Jello shots. And so that's what I did. And that got me out of my comfort zone. And then what continued to help me get on video was I had to stop thinking it was about me, because it was my fears and my hives and my ums that were said too much and my friends that might say something about me, and really understand that as a woman, we will do things for other people before we will do them for ourselves. And when I shift the narrative that it's not about me, it's about them, it's about serving and supporting them, it changed the game.
That's awesome. And there was one point you almost just gave up on business altogether.
Yes, that was after I was visible. That was in 2020. But yeah, I was completely done. I was done because
what happened?
To do like 366 videos.
Well, okay, so in July of 2020, I actually did 100 live videos in a month.
Wow.
And so this is where I believe that the thing we do in like one 90-day period doesn't show up until the next 90-day period. It did not show up immediately. And so in August, I had somebody ask for a refund. Basically, they didn't want to continue and their payment had already came out and I had no boundaries. I had no agreement. I had nothing. And I was soft and just like, boom, here, just, I don't want to hear it. Let me just give you the refund. And so I remember the beginning of September of 2020, I looked at my bank account and I only saw $2,000 coming in. And Desiree and I were in the same mastermind at the time. And that was half of that was going to go. And I knew I was going to pay the rest of my bills. And so I was like, I'm just going to be done. Like, it's literally, I have nothing to lose. I'm either going all out with a bang or I'm just, I'm done. And so the only thing that I can think of is that I really just stopped caring about what people think fully. And I put myself out there. I promoted other people, like with no expectation in return. And went from only looking at like $2,000 coming in that month to $11,000 in recurring revenue added on top of that $2,000. And it was like, I don't even know what happened in a 3-week period. Like, I don't even know, like, I still to this day am in awe of, it was a whole mindset thing. It was a whole, you have nothing to lose thing. And so that was another part of my business that really changed the trajectory for me.
So what do you put out there? Like, what, it sounds like you've got a membership program.
Yes, I have an inner circle, which is like I can't list everything. It'll take too long. But I have like an inner circle. That's like a mastermind. I have I have 2 different memberships. And it just has different programming depending on the level that they're in. And basically what I do is I help people obviously get visible, help them get visible, their offers get visible, help their message get clearer so that it can be more visible. So it all surrounds around really becoming the visible CEO.
I gotcha. Okay.
Tammy was asking, like, do you have a formula for like how long your videos are or specific things that you talk about or?
So yes and no. If I go live, I always know that I'm going to get more people on the replay than I am the live. So I always try because my audience is an entrepreneur, right? So they're busy. They don't have time to watch an hour video. So I always try to make my videos around 10 minutes or less. Obviously we have short form video for that too, but that's one of the main things that I've noticed. And I actually just did a video challenge in March. So funny. And I learned a lot because I haven't done this. I did 128 live videos in March. And the thing that I learned is that anything that's mobile size does better than landscape, than like a YouTube video. So everything, even going live on YouTube, I crushed it going in the mobile view versus the landscape view. So it was just a game changer. Facebook, LinkedIn, obviously TikTok and Instagram, you are typically going to go that direction anyhow, but it was just a big game changer to see that changed. It changed the results that much.
And did you stumble on, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Did you stumble on that? Like, oh, let me try mobile view instead. Or had you heard about it and you're like, no, I'll try it?
I just tried it. I was like, I'm just going to try this. I'm going to switch it up a little bit.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I will say this. I have never, ever experienced the comments that I got going YouTube live mobile. I don't know if Desiree has ever seen this or not. It was horrible. Like, I would get a Bible verse and then a really inappropriate, do you want to see can I see your, like, just inappropriate stuff. What color are your underwear today? Like, I mean, so basically what I did is I had an outline. And so I moved it over the comments and I was just like, kept going. Matter of fact, yesterday when I did my finished my month strong, I didn't see the comments until after I was done. And somebody goes, she's not even really live, because I was ignoring them and they were taunting me, trying to get me to say something, but I couldn't see it. So it was like dude, I don't even care. Like, I can't even see what you're saying. So that was interesting. But the thing is that, yes, I got a lot more, we'll say spam, but I also know that I attracted people.
Well, spam brings attention and replays too.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
engagement.
Yeah.
Remember,
And
Desiree told me, until you have a hater, you're not successful. So the first hater I got, I was like, yes, I did it.
yeah, I mean, it's so true. And what I found was, they're just there's the people that I attract are lurkers. They're quiet. They're introverts. They're not going to say anything, especially with that whole mess of comments. They were like, I'm not getting into this. But yeah, so it was at first I let it, like, I could see it. I think that was a lot of growth. I went back to watch the video. I could see, like, when the comments happened, because I could see my face. Just nobody else would have noticed, but I did. But it was really just interesting to see, like, okay, like, I've never really gotten it this bad, like, but it's fine. I can handle it. So,
what is your most favorite platform to go live on or to have videos?
Okay. One of the reasons that I did the March Madness, is what I called it, is because, I don't know if you know this, but Facebook is removing live videos after 30 days, and all, like, the hundreds that I have already are going to go. And I was like, so they're not prioritizing live videos. So who is? So I obviously did this test and went everywhere. I actually really like YouTube and TikTok. I really do. I couldn't, at the beginning of the month, I was struggling connecting with the TikTok audience. And so I went and watched, like, a bunch, like, how you can go on TikTok and you can just watch lives. And so I just watched all these lives and I studied them. And then I went into ChatGPT and said, this is what I want. I want you to create me a 25-minute live video, which I don't go live for 25 minutes, but it's going to disappear on TikTok. I want you to create this. I want opportunities for engagement. I want opportunities for people to tap in. I want opportunities for all these things. And so it just, I asked for sound bites throughout it, and it created it. And then I started using that strategy, and it started working. Where I was dreading to go on TikTok live because it felt like I was talking to myself, which, I mean, it does. Any live feels like you're talking to yourself, right? Even with people in the comments. So that was just a real big game changer. And it's interesting that I even say that, because I was dreading at the beginning of March going live on either one of those platforms. And even with the hate comments, I will probably still go live 2 to 3 times a week on YouTube. I blew up my account this month. I
think YouTube is going to be huge this year, especially what TikTok ban is coming back up.
Is it happening, or do we know? Like, when's that? I heard like 5 more days or 6 more days.
Yeah, it hasn't been told yet that they've announced, but I think YouTube is going to be a game changer this year. I do not go live anywhere ever.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I'm calling for 2025. The most important type of video is going to be face to cam. Live is even better, because guess what? Everybody can write amazing copy with ChatGPT,
right?
But they can't back it up.
Yeah.
In a video, I can back it up. I can back up every single thing, that even if I use chat to help me write my script I can go on video and I can back it up, and people can see that I believe and know and have certainty behind exactly what I'm saying. And most people can't do that.
Yeah.
That's why they avoid video.
That's so true. And I like doing lives, when I get around to actually doing the lives. God, I feel like I'm talking to my clients when I'm on a live, and I'm offering ideas and suggestions, and I never know, like, where it's going to go. But is that how you felt too? Just kind of like you're talking, and then one idea leads to another idea, and then all of a sudden you're like, I gotta wrap this up.
Yeah, I'm I can't stop talking. So when I'm on live, so these lives, I knew I did not want to spend all day on them. So they were very structured, meaning I had bullet points, and I knew I was going to do it, and I was going to end with a call to action. So I created them to specifically cut it off and keep them around 12 minutes. But yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I'm actually like, I was on a live with a client a couple days ago, Sunday night, and we were on a TikTok live for 50 minutes. 50 minutes. I'm like, this is a record for me. I don't go live like this long on TikTok of all places, but
yeah.
So I really try to keep it condensed again, just because I know on most platforms, my rewatch time is going to suffer if I don't keep it to the point and keep them engaged throughout.
But it goes to show how it's easier doing it with somebody else, because you have, like, I think about that all the time, all the times that we were together or at events. And like, if somebody had ever recorded, we would have a whole mastermind
Yeah,
out there.
for sure.
But
that's how we started our podcast too, Desiree. Just we were talking and we're like, why don't we could sit here and talk about things for,
Yeah.
You never know where it's going to start.
Do you enjoy, what did your time look like on that Sunday live? Like your watch time compared to your 10-minute, like by yourself?
You mean my results?
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit more, but not extravagantly more. Mm-hmm. Probably the craziest thing that I noticed, and this is what I noticed back in 2020 on Facebook, but it was not this time. Facebook did not prioritize my lives like they did in the past. Like my views were not that much different than they normally are with a combination of content. But what I think what happened on YouTube is that it also benefited my short form video.
Yeah.
So I took all my my lives, and do you guys use Opus.io or Opus.io or something? So basically you take your long form videos and it will cut them into short form video. It'll do captions and stuff, but I don't want it to do captions.
Riverside does that.
Yeah, I'd rather do captions in the platform. But so it would take the lives, cut them, grades them, gives them a percentage, like 98%. This is like a good hook. It's a great video. And so I take the top 5 from each long form video and repurpose it. And I literally did that last night. I meant not last night. Yeah, last night. And it's like this short for me is going like crazily, like it's growing so fast. I'm like, okay, this has to be because of everything I've done in the month of March. So that's been interesting just to see the changes and the growth.
So if you had to give somebody a piece of advice like that, maybe they're introvert, maybe they're not, but they feel like they have nothing to say, or they don't know what to say, or they feel like, and I think you and I have had this conversation, I could dominate any SEO expert in any room face to face. But I look at a camera and I'm like, everybody knows that. Even I know that they don't know that. But like, there are people like that who are like, I don't even know what to say, or I feel like an imposter, but I know I'm not, but I feel like maybe that's common knowledge. Like, what would you tell them?
I would say first, write down like 5 to 10 topics that you know you're an expert at. Like, you could talk about. It's like that question that goes around on social media, sometimes on Facebook. It says, what could you talk about for 30 minutes with no preparation? Like, how many of those topics do you have laying around? And then I would talk about them in different ways. And I think a lot of times we get tired of hearing ourselves talk about the same thing, kind of like Desiree was saying, or they can just Google that. It's all over Google. But people want to connect with you. And so as far as getting on video, again, do it for the audience, pour into the audience, have conviction that you know that you can change their lives or facilitate some type of change in their lives. And then think about the topics that you're most an expert in. And the thing is that your vault of expertise is going to grow unless you stop growing, right? It's going to grow continuously. The more you test, it's just like in the month of March, I have so much more data and so much more expertise just doing what I did and testing these things. And so what I like to say is, so I love this. So let's say I'm going to talk about visibility the whole entire month, but I don't want to annoy my audience, or that's what we tell ourselves, right? So I could say 5 ways to get on camera today. Tomorrow, I could talk about 5 things to avoid when you get on camera. So you literally can flip it and do the opposite. right? 7 ways to explode your visibility in the next 24 hours. 7 ways that are hindering your visibility right now. And everybody has a different way that they connect with us. And some people want to know the mistakes. What do I not do? And some people want the information of what do I actually do, right? What are the steps that I actually take? Some people want to rate themselves. So am I doing these 7 mistakes, right? And so just having that even little twist on what you're saying, and basically making it the opposite, but you're going to talk about it in a different way, is a really great piece of what I call repetition strategy, because your audience is actually going to start to know who you are, what you do, and what you're about. Whereas if you tried to come up with 365 different topics to talk about every day of the year, you're going to confuse them so much, they're going to scroll on by. They're not going to know, oh, I like her, but I don't really know what she does. We want to make sure that they know what we do. So we want to repeat ourselves over and over and over.
And how do you feel about like people niching down? They should be we've heard back and forth from different people. You should, you shouldn't, but you should typically, would you agree you should have like 3 primary like areas of focus as opposed to 100 different areas that you would focus on? Like we might be digital marketers, but where do we really shine? And then other things can be discussed at a later date. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. It's just like my business. Everything goes back to visibility. I'm known for visibility, even though I teach other things. And matter of fact, even 2025, I was working with my coach and she was like, we need to narrow this down even more. Visibility is too broad today. Back in 2019, visibility wasn't that broad. Today it's too broad. So I said, okay, I'm face to cam video, building connection, community, collaboration. We increase your income, your impact, and your influence. Like that's what we do. Like that's what I do. And so that was a game changer because that's how I started my business. So it even felt like home. I don't want to say it's only live video, but even a short form video or recorded video, your face to camera is going to create more relationships, one-sided relationships with your audience than any other type. Like you can go dance on TikTok all you want. Nobody's going to buy from a dance video. Sorry. Plain and simple. You want to convert them. You want to get them like to build that massive like, know, and trust with you. It's got to be face to cam video. But yes, what you said, the more you can niche down, the better. And I have a lot of clients who fight me on this, who don't love this. And so I say, okay, I know you're multifaceted and you do a lot of things. Can we have one mission that everything goes under? Like one mission that is so important to you, but everything falls under that. And so if you can't like pick just one thing, then have a mission that everything falls under. It makes sense.
Well, your inner circle group of girls are amazing. I feel like the ones I know, I can tell you exactly what they do. Like it's very clear.
Yeah, for sure. Because they know repetition strategy, talk about it, show up online over and over and over, repeat yourself, talk about your offers every single day. Like that's what I'm challenging with talking about.
And you even created a new quiz recently. So for people who are questioning whether or not they're being as visible as they can.
Yeah. It's called the Visible CEO quiz. And so it'll rate you. So behind the scenes, like nobody has to know. And so you can see where you're at. And then it breaks it down into 4 different categories out of 12 questions. So you know like where you need to work the most.
How'd you create your quiz?
So in December, I did a week-long free program that I knew I was going to sell, but I wanted to do it live for free as instead of doing a 12 days of Christmas and selling all week, I said, I'm just going to do this for free. And so it was called Become the Visible CEO. It was 4 trainings with 4 workbooks. I poured my heart and soul into this program. And I don't know how to create a quiz. I'm just going to throw that out there really quick. But do you use high level?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So high level has a quiz option. I'm like, okay, I am fully committed to it's already in here. Let's do it. And so I transcribed all of the videos with the workbooks and I went into chat and I said, I want to create a quiz. I need point systems. I want it to have these 4 different results. I want these 4 different topics. Like, tell me where I'm going with this. And so I totally used ChatGPT to create the quiz. I edited it, of course, because some of it wasn't like my verbiage and things like that. But the great thing is that it was all my work that I took from the transcription, the videos, and turned it into a quiz. And then the upsell after they take the quiz is become the visible CEO, because all the data came from that.
It was pretty cool. I took it the other day and it told me I need to be more visible. But I have the knowledge and the confidence. I just don't put it out there.
Yeah.
And I think people like quizzes. I've just never known how to create one. So that's super cool. But yeah, you want to know, like, well, where am I in this scale? And how do I know if my problem is manageable or I need some help or
Yeah. So I have a piece of content on Instagram that did really well. I don't know, maybe a year ago. And it was like, do I have a selling problem or do I have a raving fans problem? And I'm like, that's going to be turned into a quiz, because it's just a carousel. But like, I think that a lot of people don't know, do I have a selling problem? Do I have a hot audience problem? Which is it? And most of the time it's probably a combination of both. But I'm like, that's my next quiz, because that content did so well and people could self-identify and create problem awareness out of it. And I know the next time I sell either one of those programs, it's going to really help that too.
Well, I think you are a huge inspiration and love everything that you put out. And we are so happy that you came. You have the visible.ceo.com. You have the Visible CEO quiz. We're going to make sure to link everything below so people know how to find you. And yeah, I'm just excited you came. Tammy, do you have any other questions for her?
And congratulations. It sounds like you've really pushed yourself. You've really, recognized like, well, here's where I'm nervous, but I'm just going for it anyways. And you stuck with it and you were able to pivot and just a huge congratulations for seeing those numbers increase so much. That's good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Somebody called me out on that a couple weeks ago, and she said, you put in the reps. Like every time you feel like you're bad at something or you need to improve on something, you just put in the reps. I was like, actually, you're right. That's what I do. When I didn't want to sell, when I didn't want to launch, I just started doing it all the time, even though I sucked. Right. And so I think the more we put in the reps with visibility, with video, that's how you get better. Not by wishing or hoping, but by actually doing it.
Yep. Putting in the reps, and you did it, and you're doing it. So yeah, that's awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Crissy, for coming to hang with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.